internship. Okay.
And how that,
Okay. So basically, my other point of light was, having an internship that was taken away from me unjustly. And I'm sure that person regrets what they did for themselves, because they could have had credit of making me the first world famous fashion designer from Summerfield.
That's it.
But it's okay.
That's
okay. These things happen, but it forced me to have to regroup, and I had to say, okay, well, they took the internship away from me. Yes, I just got kicked in the stomach, and I don't know why they did that to me. But now I still need an internship because I have to graduate. So I found an internship with a modeling agency, and I was helping with the fashion part. I wasn't modeling; I was just helping with the fashion styling and things like that. And it really ended up being a great thing, because the person that I was working for did something that really changed my life at the time. And so, sometimes we don't understand why we get these big pains, when we have pain. But sometimes it's preparing us to get through something else, The third point of light, I would definitely say, is my friend Shay. Because like I said, meeting Shay back in those days, she was already on her spiritual journey. And so it was just like amazing, to have. I don't want her to cry.
You okay?
But she had the words of life, and I had not heard it in that such of a way before. Everything she said, she wasn't forcing any religion on me or any of that kind of thing, but she was the daughter of a king, basically, and so she had so many positive things going for her. She was a beautiful young woman. She dressed so elegantly and professional with her banking career. She was engaged, getting married, and she was getting her nails done, and she was really living the life. But she was a humble person, but she was extremely like fun and happy, and she knew who she was. And so I had not seen it. I hadn't really seen it before. I'd seen people, but I had not seen somebody with that much inner joy. And it did. It could change my life. So I began to seek my spiritual journey more, because I was in, my parents had, their own path and everything, but they never really talked about it. I never had anybody talk to me about a spiritual life. They lived it. They did live it. So that was the most important thing, but nobody had ever talked to me. So I was trying to figure it out. While you're trying to figure it out, if you come from a family where everybody pretty much treats you nice and they treat you good and with respect, you think the world is like that. And the world is not like that.
No.
Now, like Tanya said, you will draw energy to you more like that once you know who you are and you're strengthened, so you don't kind of pull in the riffraff at the same time. But it was one of my third points of light to have that friendship, and I've have other friendships now too. But I'm always forever grateful for my friend. I love you too. Anybody else?
Well, for me, my lights were birthed out of, at times, death. My grandmother's passing, and she raised me. I was raised by my grandparents, and when she passed away, it was pivotal for me. Wow. And it was really, I wasn't raised in the church. Okay, I did go to church, but we were Catholic. But I did go to the Baptist church. But we always, went to the corner store to get some candy. And we would go. They put us in Sunday school or children's church or whatever that was. And it took a lot, because of a lot of stuff was going on when I was young. It took a lot for me to keep my focus on things. So if I wasn't really interested in it, I really would lose focus really fast. And so I wasn't raised in the church, but it was when she passed away, and I went up to New York and I came back here to North Carolina, it was like God spoke to me and said, everything that you've been doing everybody that you've connected yourself with, cut them off.
Wow.
And I knew when I came back, and it was never a thing to where people just walk up to me and say things, or, you know, it was just, I felt it in my spirit. It's time to move. It's time. It's time. And when that came through so clear, and I literally cut people off, I stopped talking to people, I stopped going out, I turned my life completely around. So that was one pivotal moment for me, and one light was through her passing. And you know, as I went on, of course, my grandfather ended up in 2000. He ended up passing. Pivotal moment again. Here we go. You know, and you got to make some changes. And so I did have, you know, a few people that made impacts in my life. Barbara Sloan was one of them when I worked out at the airport, and at the time I was married to him, and he would bring my son to me. We would switch out, and he would bring him to me with his clothes on backwards. And she told me, she said, listen, don't you say nothing to him. She said, because just be glad that he's dressed him and he's brought him to you to work. But she had that marriage, and she had those kids, and she had that wisdom to where she really did help me through some moments. But the people that were in my life, it was very quick. It was always just very quick. I was more one of those people that was guided through the Spirit, not even knowing that I was being guided. And I was being spoke to through the Spirit, didn't know that I was being spoken to. And, you know, I was guided to church, worship, prayer, you know, and once I was in there, I started to realize, okay, let me figure this out, because I didn't feel some of the things that was being said to me. So I got to figure this out for myself, because just because people are telling me this, should I believe it?
Right.
You know,
you need to investigate.
Yeah. So, you know, moments like that was what the light bulbs were for me. And it's like, okay, I know God exists. I know I could see it in my own life. I see the times where they were there. The angels, God, I could see it all. Right. The synchronicities and things like that. I could see it. But what they were saying to me wasn't lining up with what I felt. So that was the light for me to, okay, I'm going to get on the spiritual journey now. I'm not going to be on the religious or on the traditional or what people are telling me to believe. Because we're good at telling people what they need to believe. So, yeah, and once I got on the spiritual journey, there was the guide now. And okay, well, this way, and you go this way. Okay, well, you need to do this. And, you know, it was really eye-opening for me. And it just keeps getting clearer and clearer. You know, but I have to really, there were people in my life, and I'm, like you said, I'm thankful for the people that were there, but I'm also thankful for the guidance that I received from Spirit. Because that's where, who got me through all those tough times.
By yourself.
When I had no idea, you know, how to even get through. And there was nobody to call a lot of times. You might have had one friend, but certain things you couldn't even say to that friend. You know, certain things you had to keep to yourself.
They don't understand what you're talking about.
Right, and you had to figure it out for yourself. So, yeah.
What do you think, Sherree?
I was sitting here thinking about my grandmother. My grandmother told me when I was very young, she was the first African-American history teacher in our county in North Carolina, and she was an English teacher as well. And so I was very fortunate because she she would say little things. And my grandmother had the unique ability to take each of her grandchildren and give them something totally different. She gave each of us what we needed to grow up.
And it wasn't that how she could see that.
Yeah, and it takes a unique, very special woman to give you what you need at that time. What she told me is, she said, Sharon, people treat you how you present yourself.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
If you want to be presented, if you want to be treated like a young professional minority woman that has her stuff going on, you have to present yourself like that. And if you present yourself any other way, that's how you will be treated.
Mm-hmm.
She said, first, she said, no one knows anything about you other than what they first see. So I learned that from my grandmother. The second thing that I learned was I am not just, when I go out or when I present myself to the world, I'm not just taking myself. I'm taking my entire family with me. Our grandmother said, remember that when you go out, you're taking all of us with you. So it gives me a good burden and a good shoulder and a lot of responsibility that I can't just go out and do and say and act and behave any kind of way. I can't just fly off the bat and just act, because I have a name, I have a family, I have, a legacy to uphold. And I think, so those two were my points of light. And the third point of light happened to me when I became very ill. And I could not get out of bed, and the illness stopped me from working for over a year, and I was not able to take care of my son. And at that point, I was a single parent, and I was not able to get up on my own. I didn't have it. I've always been a very, very self-driven person, and I had gotten to the point where I couldn't make myself get up. And I learned that even after everything that I knew in my head and in my heart, that there was a greater power, a greater power in me. There had to be something greater to will me to be well and get up so that I could take care of myself and my child. And that when you need something greater than that, even if you've done everything that you can do, that there will be something else greater than anything you've ever experienced that will take you up and get you to where you need to be.
Yes.
So
Beautifully said.
Yes.
So those are my points of light.
Awesome.
They're looking at me now.
After all of that seriousness, we needed a light moment.
I don't know if I can express myself as well.
You
as
don't.
You
Just
guys.
be
Don't compare yourself like Maria.
We love you.
Yes.
Be
Yes,
Becky.
because
Yes.
this is
And make it funny, because we need the light.
you have so much humor and so much love and kindness. Now you come
That's
on.
very kind of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say 3 points. When I'm listening and thinking, my number one point through my life has been my relationship with God. Like you just said so beautifully. That has always, no matter what, been there. No matter how low or how high, always consistently there. And my prayer my whole life since I was little was, please just light my path. Please show me the way, because I'm often, confused with it. I know that sounds
Who is it?
funny, but
No, that's not.
and really, that is the number one thing that has always lifted me up. A second point would be my children, that I, in this lifetime, have been given to beautiful human beings to enjoy and reflect with, and to watch them grow and watch them grow as human beings. It does have a beautiful grounding source in my life. Third, I've had some, I guess I did 1, 2, 3. I've had some mentors along the way, professional mentors that really have been an influence in the way that I wouldn't have had their perspective had I not met them. And that allowed me to channel where I needed to go, how I needed to do it. I'm really grateful for that. So I guess I would encourage people to look for people that you respect and ask for their guidance, because people who are loving will be more than happy to help another, to help them along the way and achieve their goals. So never be afraid to do that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we'll just leave with these parting words for this particular episode. Wherever you're at, whatever vehicle you're driving, if you had planned on driving a Bentley and you're driving a Yugo,
Don't get stuck.
That's right, don't get stuck. Keep driving it. When I was a kid in college, I had a little yellow bumblebee I call it Toyota. And the bumper was falling off, it just had no heat. I never forget driving from college, going to my job, crying because I had no heat in my car. I had a fur coat on. I had a fur coat because, it was cold. It was cold, but it was cute. So, I was trying to be cute, but I was really keeping warm. And, driving and crying, and then somebody ran into my car, so that worked out pretty good. No, but anyway, but whatever vehicle you have, I took some wire, and I became Earl Shibes, and I fixed my car, and I painted it, and put some wire to jack the bumper up. But, you just keep going, no matter where you're at. You find what the contentment is in where you're at, but don't stop. Like you said, don't get stuck. And so, join us on the next episode. We'll be back on the next episode to continue the conversation, and we'll see you at Ifelunow TV.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, guys.